Hi, so I'm Daniel. I'm a co-founder and also CTO of Imagely. I think most of you wouldn't have heard about Imagely before, but we are a small company from Bochum actually. But these days we are working remotely and we will be working remotely the next years also. So who is Imagely? And what is Imagely? Imagely actually is a company who tries to bridge design and technology. What does that mean? So we are trying to build creative tooling, creative editing applications, which means photo editing, layout tooling, etc., for other developers to use in their applications. So imagine something like, some people would know something like the Unity engine, Unreal Engine for games, right? You've probably heard of those. Imagine this to create something like Adobe Photoshop, or to create something like tools like Figma, Canva, or even something like TikTok. So we are the ones behind the technology. Due to this, there are several challenges we try to solve in our company. One is for sure the technology challenge, and the other is also the designer challenge, which means creating beautiful design quickly and fast. And that not even designers are the only ones that can use it, but also are people like, let's say, you and me, who may or may not know much about good design. One of those tools we have is our photo editor SDK, which basically provides the tools to do that. But I think you're here to hear more about how we employ neural networks or something in our day-to-day work. So as you have heard, so we have things like these editing applications, and one of those issues we are trying to solve is making editing, creating templates much more easy for everyone. That basically means, just to give an example, how could we use technologies, in this example, background removal with neural networks to improve design. And one of those examples you can see here in the slide. So assume somebody wants to build a template, which you see on the right. And for that, they have the left picture, and probably they shot it outside or something. And somebody has to go there normally and try to, let's say, remove the background of that person. This is typically done by some person, sitting somewhere, spending some time on using some tool in Photoshop and removing the background, etc. So this is something which is, on the one hand, really cumbersome, takes a lot of time, and honestly, it is not much fun. So why not do that automatically? So, like I said, you want to remove the background, and best case, you don't have to do anything for that. So what we do is basically, we tried over the last 2 years to use neural networks, machine learning, to basically automate this whole process. So these days, we have built something which, like I said, uses neural networks, which basically takes an image, then generates something we call a tri-map, which basically is the input for some other algorithm which creates a mask from the tri-map. So maybe for you who are interested a bit more in technology, and we can talk for sure about that later if you're interested about the details. So what you basically do, you have a first neural network, which can be any structure. I can just tell you that for us, UNets or U2Nets are the ones that work the best. Maybe that's something that you can take away from this talk. And this basically predicts this tri-map, which means there's one region. It's a classification, basically. One region is background for sure. One region is foreground for sure, the blue region. And one is the unknown region, which means, for example, the hairs or fine details around the body of a person or around the car or whatever. So after classifying that one, we feed that into another algorithm, another neural network actually, which is trained to take this mask and the input image as a tri-map, and then try to infer the real alpha mask, which means it's not just a binary mask, it's basically also calculating the alpha value around the corners of the matched image. And unfortunately, I can't go into detail here how all this neural network is structured. What I can tell you is it's based on U2Nets and a combination of multiple U2Nets, which are trained on data we gathered over the years. And I can also tell you that's currently in production in our applications. But there's more to it. There are facts which people can really hard do. So imagine you have hair, not in my case, but you have a lot of hair and you have a background. If you just do alpha matting, you have the following problem. The thing is, if you then use the matted image, the one without the background, and you put it in another background, you'll still see some details shining through. We exaggerated here a bit, but basically you would see that your hair itself, it's kind of transparent. And the problem is that you have to infer the original color of the hair also to make it fit perfectly into a new theme. So after the matting process, we even have another step, which basically tries to infer and estimate the alpha and correct color of the hair details. And I try to explain it here a bit. Like you can see, you have this image here that's actually alpha matted, and then again, it's corrected to really fit perfectly to the background. I hope you can see it here because it's in a stream and I don't know how good the quality is. Yeah, I thought let's show that it works. So I will switch over to the editor, which you can see here. It's basically the same. And by the way, for the presentation, I'm using our own technology. That's everything. It's on our own editor. It's basically our SDK we use for this purpose. And that's why I can also edit the stuff and use our stuff here. So you can see it's an editor. And we have this fancy masking feature here. And it's currently running on some small server, which not much processing power in our labs. And what it basically does is what I told you. It sends the image over, processes it with neural networks, and feeds it back to the application. And as you can see here, now you have this matted image. And for example, if I add another image to that, you might see, let's see, to check, wait for it. I can put it in front, and you can see the image is matted kind of perfectly, and you can compose new images out of that. And now you can imagine maybe a designer can do that by hand, but if I just feed in my profile picture and I just click one button, it's much easier, right? So this is a huge improvement for us for template-driven design. So let's switch back. And that's basically all to the demonstration because we only had a few minutes. So I like to use the time to have a few more discussions and you can ask questions. But maybe some facts to the company first. Like I told you, I'm from Imagely. I'm the co-founder. We started here in Bochum, not in Dortmund, but in Bochum. I actually studied in Dortmund. These days, we are a remote first company. So we have people working from Bochum, we have people from Berlin, but also Canada and everywhere over the world. And we are gonna keeping it because we made, over the last 2 years, we realized that it works very well for us, especially in the software and design field. We have currently over 30 people working and over 400 customers worldwide, including customers like Disney, Amazon, HP, you name it. So we are providing the tech for them so they can integrate into their tools. From a development perspective, from the tool stack, we have one team which is working basically on the core engine, which is written in C++ and targeting multiple platforms, WebAssembly on the web, iOS, Android, and all the other stuff, which runs basically everywhere. And then we have different teams providing UIs for different platforms. Like iOS, we're using Swift, for example. We have Android, we use Kotlin. On web, we use TypeScript, and for sure, we have also a research team, which is, to be honest, really small with 2 people, which are using the typical tools like TensorFlow and all these stuff you probably have heard of when you're working on that one. So if you're kind of interested, just talk to me later. I will hang around here a bit, at least the next hour, and I have Sascha Schwabauer and Kati with me, who are here all the day. And if you want to know more, check out Imagely, imagely.ly, or follow me or the company on Twitter, and we can tell me, I'm always open to talk. Just reach out to me directly if you like.